Hey guys, welcome to another ServerMiner plugin tutorial. I'm your host LTGem007 and today we're looking at the elevators plugin. Now this is a really fantastic plugin which allows you to create easy elevators in Minecraft. It has some really awesome features and cool effects, and overall it's a really well made and simple plugin. So I've got some examples that I've made earlier, the four default types of elevators, and if we go into the first one you can see there's a boss bar which shows which floor you're on. Now if we want to go up a floor we hit space, and there'll be a cool particle effect. It will say we've gone up a floor and it will say up in green, big on our screen. And then when we get to the top, the boss bar is full. And if you want to go down, we hit shift and all of the things are now red. So there's a red particle effect, red lettering, and that is simply how it works. So we can go to the next one. And as you can see, the floors can be any distance apart, which is pretty awesome. And you can have as many floors as you want. So you could have 4, you could have 10, you could have 100, whatever you want. So we can do it pretty quickly. We can spam space and spam shift to get back down very quickly. Here we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down we are. Finally, we have the last elevator I've created. So these are the 4 different types we have by default, but you can create new ones if you want. So let's go ahead and create one of our own. If we do /elevator followed by help, it's going to show the commands. There isn't too many, but if we do elevator list, this will list the 4 different types of elevators. So we've got the block combinations here, and we can choose whichever one we want. So if we do elevator followed by create and then the type we want, so let's go ahead and choose type 3 for example, and then the height of it. So it's going to be 5 blocks high for the first bit, and if you want another floor, we can repeat the command. So we've tested it out, it works good. We want a floor on the 10 blocks high for example, and that will place an elevator 10 blocks higher. We can also do the same for maybe 50, and we can give this a test run. Look at that up there. So space, we're up at the top, and this is pretty high. So in the config file you can set a maximum distance that they can be apart, which is pretty awesome. And we can just jump off, and there we go. So we are down at the bottom now. So that's how you would create one normally. It's pretty cool. You can just make it crazy, you can make it normal, give it as many floors as you want. So we can make one 100 blocks high, which is pretty ridiculous, but you know, it works. That's a good way to get up to the top. And we can add another one here as well. So that is pretty much everything in game. Overall, it's just a really fantastic plugin. There's a few things we can customize in the config file. So let's go ahead and look at that. So here we are in the SMPicnic control panel, and as you can see there are 2 YML files. Let's have a look at the messages.yml to begin with, and in here we can see all the messages that will appear in chat and the prefix up here. So you could change this if you wanted to, but there's no real need. If we go back we can look at the config.yml. So in here there's a few different things we can change. Do we want to know when the new update is out? Then we have the combinations. So we looked at these 4 in game, and obviously you can change them, you can create new ones if you want. So if you want to create a new one, it's best to just copy and paste a previous one onto a new line, and you could do whatever blocks you want. So we could have maybe a block of emerald, make sure you use the correct ID or it will not work. And what else? Maybe an iron block for example, like that. You can use whatever blocks you want. Then we have the enabled worlds. So there's an example here. If we want world and world nether, we can go below this line, paste it in, and make sure to get rid of the # or hashtag, whatever you call it, because if it sees a hashtag, it's not going to read whatever is beyond that. So as you can see, it's changed color, and these 2 are the only worlds that it will be enabled in. Then we have the max distance of 40. So you can change that also to 255 if you want to ignore it completely. Whether you want to replace blocks when an elevator is created. Then we have some information about the sounds that are played when you go up or down, which is pretty cool. We have information about the action bar, which is awesome. So it says you've been taken up 1 floor or taken down a floor, which is awesome. We have the title bar, messages and settings, so how long it fades in and stays, etc. So you don't have to touch this, but you could customize it if you wanted to. And then we have the boss bar, which I think is a great feature, looks very awesome, and arrow particles as well. So we have an ignore list of all the items the elevators will ignore. and whether there's a delay or not for the elevator. So it's in ticks, as you can see here, so 20 ticks is 1 second. You could give it maybe a 2-second delay, which would be 40 ticks, for example. And there would also be a delay message, which is pretty awesome, and a cancel message. Then we have the elevator cooldown. Maybe you want to stop people from abusing it, so they can use it every, I don't know, 20 seconds or whatever. And then down here we can make a player invulnerable when elevating. And that is everything in the config file. So overall, it's a really awesome plugin. It's updated to the latest version of Minecraft, you can see here. In fact, there was an update yesterday, which is pretty awesome. So if you want to download it, come over to the Spigot page. There's loads of information here. And if you have any issues, obviously hit him up on Discord or Spigot, and the developer will be able to help you out, which is awesome. So if you want to download it, download button is here. If you need a server to host it on, check out ServerMiner.com for the best and cheapest hosting around. But that's it for me. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you next time.